Hey, today's October 24th, 2016, and I have here yet another Montagnana. I think I was mispronouncing this wrong in my previous cello trial video. This is the Calin Wultur. The previous one was also Calin Wultur. The previous one was also a Montagnana. This is also a Montagnana. Previous one is also number 6. This one's number 6, and the only difference is the previous one was using a poplar back and sides, poplar wood. This one here is the more conventional Calin Wultur, or more conventional cello, in that it's using maple back and side. So I think traditionally, or majoritarily as I phrased it before, the top of the cello is usually spruce, with the sides of the cello and also the back being maple. So this is a more conventionally made cello, I would probably say, as compared to the poplar one that I tried before. Now the reason I want to try this one, after I told the store that I really liked the Calin Wultur Montagnana that was in poplar, I was asking, do you have any other Montagnanas that I can try? And he mentioned that he had this one, which is, again, very similar to the other one, made by the same maker, Calin Wultur. It's the same model and it's the same sort of design, except that it's using different woods. So this should be an interesting comparison to sort of think back at what the other Montagnana sounded like, and hopefully some of those things that I liked about it will come through in this cello. So just a quick look at this cello. The color of it is a little bit lighter than the poplar one that I was trying a couple weeks ago. I actually tried that one for 2 weeks in a row because they didn't have this one set up yet. So this one here is actually very recently set up within the last week or so. So what I mean by that is that the hardware on it was just set up on the base of the cello. So the strings, for example, the bridge, the sound post inside, the tail and the tailpiece are all newly fitted onto this cello. So I'm sort of probably the first person to really play on this cello, which is a little bit special, I guess, to sort of see this cello and give it sound for its first breath of air, I would say. So again, going back to the look of this cello, is a little bit lighter than the poplar one. The front of the cello does have these beautiful lines that you can noticeably see as well as noticeably feel. So I could, as I rub my fingers across it horizontally, I can feel those individual lines and ridges, which is pretty nice. I think other cellos are like this as well. Some of them have a little bit more varnish on them, so they're a little bit more smooth. Such as if you feel the sides of most cellos, they're very, very smooth. You don't feel any ridges from the wood itself. But the front on here, I can definitely feel a lot more of those ridges than some of the other cellos that I've tried. Everything else is pretty much sort of standard in terms of the fittings and the way that it looks. I believe that the string formation on this particular cello is the same as the poplar one. So I believe, if I remember correctly, it's using Larsen on the G, D, and A strings, and then you have either the spring core on this one, the tungsten one, on the C string. I might be wrong on that. I was just trying to remember what the shopkeeper was telling me. But yeah, this configuration is the same. And on the back of the cello, the sort of flaming on it is a little bit different than the poplar one. The poplar one, as you remember, had a more arrow-shaped one going upwards. This one here is a little bit more horizontal, and I notice there's a little patch in the middle here. I think you can see that. That's a little bit lighter than the rest of the cello. I don't know what that's from. Maybe some of the coloring or the varnish that they put on there maybe changed a little bit of color on this. So it's a little bit unique, I would say. It's a little bit of a lighter patch right here, but overall still a very, very beautiful cello. So I was watching Elisa's cello trial video, so I'm going to try to sort of follow that format just to give myself a new perspective on some of the different things that she tried on her video in terms of how to sort of experiment with different sounds in cellos as you're trying them out. And I really like some of those techniques, so I'm going to go ahead and try to experiment with the cello and see what we can find with it. Play a little bit of the open strings here, and one thing that Elisa was talking about was really getting to the limits of the sound in this cello by really coming closer to the bridge here, and I'll try to sort of emulate that in order to really push this to its limits that I am able to push it to. So I'll start here on the A string, and let's see, hopefully this is going to pick up okay on the camera. And D string here. And the G string. And finally the C string. The next thing I think I'm going to try is Twinkle Twinkle on all these strings, starting from the C string here. So yeah, you definitely need to press down a little bit harder because as the fingerboard tapers down towards the bridge, the height between the strings and the fingerboard increases. So that's interesting to actually try to play that. Okay, so overall first impressions of the Calin Wultur Montagnana number 6 in maple is that it's overall is quite comparable to the poplar Montagnana. It is a little bit brighter in sound compared to the other one. As you can hear, especially on the higher notes, it is a little bit brighter and almost a little bit more clear. The clarity of those notes is especially the D and the A string sound a little bit more like some of the other cellos that I've been trying. They don't have a little bit of a muffled quality that the poplar Montagnana was kind of exhibiting. The lower strings, the G and the C, and I'm just going off of recollection, is that the C string in particular has less of a roar and less of a buzzing quality on this maple version than it did on the poplar version. That's not to say that this one doesn't have that sort of fat and roaring quality to it. It's just a little bit different. It's almost like it's a little bit, like I was mentioning, a little bit brighter. This cello in general, its sound is a little bit brighter than the poplar version. So I'll continue playing on this maple one this week, and if nothing extraordinary changes, then we'll try and make a decision on a cello soon.